Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Emerald with only HM moves was a great team run. Let's follow that up with a classic. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Red with a team of only one Oddish. So, this is gonna be rough. Oddish is easily one of the weakest Pokemon in the game. Between low speed and low health, we're likely to have a pretty rough early game. Our special isn't too bad, but with these moves, we don't have much to work with. Only Absorb until level 15, and our strongest move is Solar Beam in a gen that doesn't have Sunny Day. At least we get the powders for status afflictions, that's pretty nice. Petal Dance could be our strongest move with type advantage. By TM we learn a few more moves, but honestly not much. No Body Slam this time, so that sucks. Mega Drain is only 40 power. Maybe I could use some kind of Mega Drain and Double Edge combo to deal damage while staying healthy? I'm iffy on it, but it might be a winning strategy. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I think it's possible, but I think I'm going to be stuck spamming Sleep Powder and Double Edge by the end of the game. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Oddish. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Oddish so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Bulbasaur so that our rival would have Charizard, the hardest for us to fight. I named him RVD. It had to either be this or Riddle, so maybe I'll save Riddle for a tag team run. Maybe an Oddish and a Bellsprout run could be fun someday. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in that, and like what game you want me to do that in. So, you know how normally we have to start by grinding in the forest, right? Well, it's different for once, because we have to grind before the forest. Yeah, you'd think that maybe we wouldn't have to grind since we're a grass type and the first two gyms are rock and water, but because our only move right now is Absorb and it has 20 power, there's no way we could fight off all the Weedles in the forest. Plus, there's a required trainer near the end of the forest that has a high-leveled Weedle, so we have to be strong enough to beat him. Yes, the Weedles are actually a threat. To do that, we have to gain some levels off Wild Rattata. It's super slow, and we're super weak, but I had to grind a Magikarp at this point in the game before, so this is still much better than that. The Weedle ended up being easy, by the way. Like, we hardly did any damage, but as soon as we ran out of power points, we beat him with Struggle pretty easily. Man, we had to use Struggle to beat a Weedle. This is a weird run already. Once we got to the Rock Gym, it's obviously super easy. Absorb may only be 20 power, but it's got a double type advantage, we've got the same type attack bonus, and we probably have higher special than them. I'd be surprised if we didn't, actually. They didn't stand a chance. That's not to say that the early game is easy, though. This doesn't happen often, but the route after Mount Moon is actually kinda hard. There's a lot of trainers here that we have to fight, and it's pretty common for them to use flying types and bugs and poison. We do learn some new moves while we fight our way through, but it's just the status affliction powders, as we don't get any new damaging moves until level 24. It actually makes things harder for us because 20 absorbs aren't enough to win some of these fights, and we can't just easily use Struggle now that we have powders, so I just have to grind to beat some bug trainers. Mount Moon itself is actually a bit easier. I don't even try fighting the Zubat since they double resist grass, but the Geodudes make for good experience. It's worth pointing out that I actually avoid as many trainers as I can in here, because so many of them have Pokemon that we can hardly hurt. I'm worried that as soon as I get to Celadon, I'm gonna get stuck on the rival fight. I'm gonna have to get to level 24 before then so I can learn Acid if I want any chance of survival. On our way there, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Once we get to town, I go after the water gym right away and have a pretty easy time. They only have good water moves, nothing that would really hurt us too much. Plus, it got us to level 24 and we learned Acid. It's not great, but it might be enough for the rival fight, and honestly, we might have to keep this move the whole game. First was Pidgeotto, and I'm pretty thankful that Gust is normal type in Gen 1, because it crit me right away. Acid was doing enough to take it down in a few hits, but we actually got pretty hurt. I'm just happy that he didn't use Sand Attack. Aber couldn't fight back, so I took the chance to heal by taking him down with Absorb. Rattata got some nice shots in too, so my health was a little bit lower than I wanted going into the Charmander fight. Our low speed really doesn't help. As soon as Charmander came out, I played it safe and went for Sleep Powder. We missed the first time, but it didn't matter. He just spammed Leer for some reason, so we won. The next little bit of travel was much better. Now that we have Acid, we can deal some decent damage to the mostly much lower leveled Pokemon on Nugget Bridge. I don't even have to worry about the hikers up here, since we're using Pokemon that can beat them for once. Once we get to the Ssn, I have a much better time getting levels. Yeah, there are Galdeans, and they have Peck, and I've done a whole rant about how that doesn't make any sense to me. But for the most part, the water types can be easily taken out. I'll need these levels, we have a rival fight coming up. Speaking of, time for the Ssn Rival Fight. This one was pretty easy until Charmeleon. I tried just spamming Acid a bunch of times instead of going for Sleep Powder, and it almost made us lose. I'm lucky that he only has Ember for fire moves, because that was closer than I'd like. Think I'm strong enough for the Electric Gym after this? Well, I was skeptical, but on our way we got Petal Dance and it did great damage. We still got paralyzed near the end, and I figured that could shut us down, but we resisted their electric moves, so it really wasn't that bad. First try. Next up is Rock Tunnel, and normally this is kind of a pain because of the hikers, but we have Petal Dance, so it should actually be really easy. While I'm making my way through, this is a great time for the Chimera ad. Chimera, of course, being a wonderful clothing site where you can get all kinds of awesome clothes. I guess I could have made that sound cooler. I'm sure you can tell from the footage on screen that the clothes look great, but I'll let you know that they feel great too. I know because I actually wear stuff from Chimera most days of the week at this point. The spring collection is up, so if the last time you checked was in the winter, then be sure to check and see what they've got now. These Chimera sponsorships are literally the reason why I can afford to make these challenges so much longer than they used to be. So if you're interested in their stuff and want to show some love, then use the code Mah-Dry-Bread at checkout so they know I sent you. Seriously, my challenges are more than double the length of what they were a year ago. It's insane how much this helps. Right, back to the video. As soon as I left Rock Tunnel, I went straight to the Rocket Hideout in Celadon City. Giovanni uses mostly rock and ground types, so I figured I could probably take him out easier than I could the Grass Gym anyway. While I was in there, I grabbed the TM for Double Edge. It does recoil damage, but it's literally the strongest move we can learn aside from Solar Beam, so I took it. Maybe Double Edge is what I need to beat Erica. So, like I expected, Giovanni was easy, but Kangaskhan took a weirdly huge chunk out of us with Bite. I'm feeling pretty frail, makes me worry about how some of the rest of the run is gonna go. Time for the Grass Gym. This went shockingly well. Not because we're super awesome, but because they kept using Poison Powder over and over. We're Poison type. I have no idea what she was thinking. I know Gen 1 AI can be kinda dumb sometimes, but do they seriously not know that they can't use Poison Powder on a Poison type? As soon as the Grass Gym is done, we get the TM for Mega Drain. It's only 40 power, but at least it's better than Absorb. I'm not really sure if we'll use this, but I'll hold on to it. At the Pokemon Tower, we have another rival fight. It starts pretty well with Pidgeotto being a one-shot with Double Edge and Execute being a one-shot with Acid. As Water Onix came out, I decided it was time to start Petal Dance. This move locks you into doing only it for a few rounds, and then it confuses you after, so it's a little bit risky. It takes out Water Onix just fine, and although Kadabra was faster than us and hurt us a bit, he went down pretty easily too. Last was Charmeleon, and we easily could have lost thanks to him being faster than us and using Ember, but we lucked out, and the confusion from our Petal Dance ending didn't stop us from hitting Double Edge for the win. That was harder than the fight normally is, though. So the last 4 gyms ended up being real easy, but I'm not feeling great about the next 3. We don't really have great moves for the Poison Gym, so we'll probably have to spam Sleep Powder and Double Edge, and then we have a Psychic Gym who all use super effective moves against us. Considering how slow we are, they're gonna be faster than us for sure. Then we have the normally super easy Fire Gym with Blaine that I'm actually kind of worried about. Hard to say what level I'll be when we get there, but I think it's safe to say that we will be slower than them, at least slower than the Rapidash and the Arcanine. I'll try and fight some trainers on our way there. Time for the Poison Gym. This one took quite a few tries since it's heavily reliant on Sleep Powder hitting. The strategy for this fight is just to Sleep Powder and then spam Double Edge until we win. It works super well on the Coughings and Muck, but the last Wheezing is what made us take so many tries. He's super tanky, he's faster than us, and the recoil damage really piles on this late in the fight. On the winning run, we only pulled through because he used Toxic for no reason rather than just taking us out with Sludge, so we managed to win. It was close though. I'm not feeling super confident. So next up is Silphco, and I'm gonna have to clear out the whole building for levels. If we almost lost to Koga, then there is no way that we are ready for the always brutal Silphco rival fight. Rival Fival, as some may call it. I mean, if we're slower than Weezing, then we're gonna be slower than plenty of our rivals team, including his terrifying crit machine of an Alakazam. Considering we're weak to Psychic, I think we just have to hope that his AI is gonna do something stupid. Oh yeah, sorry, I feel like I was supposed to talk about this earlier, but I have no idea where to bring this up, but I just got approved for Super Thanks. That doesn't even sound like English, I don't know why they called it Super Thanks. So somewhere under this video you'll see a heart with a $sign that says thanks. It's like a super chat, but it's a comment. Basically it just lets you send me a tip while leaving a comment. I honestly have just about no idea how it works, how much of a cut I get, really anything about it. All I know is that they rolled it out to my channel super late, and I'm not even surprised. They didn't even tell me that I could do it. I just had to find it one day. It was actually Carsey, the speedrunner, who reminded me to even go check if I can get super thanks. Don't feel like you have to donate or anything. This is a free show and it's always gonna be. I just thought I'd bring up that it exists because it's not like YouTube's gonna tell you. Right, back to the video. The rival starts with Pidgeot and hits us with Wing Attack, but it's only as strong as Peck in this game. You know, that might make for a good run. I'll think about that. Anyway, he went down easy thanks to Sleep Powder. Second was Execute, who was pretty weak to Acid, so he went down easily too. Water Onix managed to get in a hit, but he went down pretty quickly once we put him to sleep. Next was Alakazam though, who instantly crit us with Confusion to bring us to red health. Then we knocked ourselves out with Double Edge. That sucks, but if I try a few more times, then maybe he just won't crit. I have to hope he still uses Confusion though, and not something stronger. Okay, after about 8 more tries, we finally managed to get not one shot, and actually landed a Sleep Powder. Instead of going for Double Edge, I just used Acid, and thanks to a crit, he went down in one hit. I thought we were doomed when Charizard hit Ember, but we hung on with red health and hit Sleep Powder. It kept him asleep for just long enough to get a much needed win. It's unreal how important Sleep Powder is when you're this weak. Naturally, the Giovanni fight after was much easier. He actually only has one Pokemon who's weak to Grass type thanks to his dual typing with Poison, but that doesn't change the fact that he's just much weaker than the rival. Now it's time for the terrifying Psychic Gym fight, and I need you to buckle up because there are some serious Gen 1 moments in here. Keep in mind that every member of her team is faster than us. Okay, first is Kadabra, who uses Psybeam to take a chunk out of our health before we one-shot him with Acid. Alright, that move made sense. Second is Mr. Mime, who uses Light Screen even though we're using physical moves, so we just put him to sleep and take him out. Third is Venomoth, and Sabrina decided that Poison Powder was the best choice even though she has Psybeam. So, you know, that went pretty well. Last was Alakazam, who without a doubt could have one-shot us with Psybeam, but just used the nearly useless Psywave, so we survived, put him to sleep, and took him out. Can Sabrina get her gym license revoked? Maybe we gotta give it back to the fighting gym next door. I feel like they would have done a better job. Man, at least maybe they would have used Fire Punch. Okay, well, we still have the fire gym to do, and I figure that'll be pretty hard. I know, the fire gym is usually a joke because of how dumb Blaine is, but we're almost for sure gonna be slower than half his team, and they have Fire Blast on Arcanine. He can waste a bunch of turns on Roar and stuff like that if he wants to, but really it's only gonna take a couple hits for us to faint. First is Growlith, who thankfully only has Ember, so he really didn't do much at all before we took him down. Ponyta's actually faster than us and missed Fire Spin right away, but hit it on the second round. See, Fire Spin is like Gen 1 Wrap, where we can't fight back while he's using it. Really brutal, and considering they're faster than us, that's bad. He missed eventually though, so we won. Also, I'm pretty sure that Super Potion during the Fire Spin was illegal. We really lucked out on Rapidash as it missed Fire Spin right away, so we just put it to sleep and spammed Acid a few times. Last was Arcanine, and this is the reason why the fight took 7 tries. We needed Fire Blast to miss. Once it did, we were able to put him to sleep and thankfully got some defense drops on Acid. Thanks to that, he went down pretty quickly. Feels wrong to lose to Blaine, even if I'm a grass type. At least we won in the end. Right after that is the ground gym. Petal Dance was a one-shot on Rhyhorn, as well as his Dugtrio right after, although we did take a critical slash. Nidoqueen is next and we only deal neutral damage, but it still did a lot and she just used Poison Sting. By the time Nidoking came out, we got confused from Petal Dance. Naturally, we hit ourselves, but Nidoking was spamming Poison Sting as well, so it's not like he was doing anything serious. Last was Rhydon, who just went down in one hit. Easiest Giovanni fight yet. Time for the second from last rival fight. Pidgeot goes the same way as last time, only hitting a weak wing attack before we put him to sleep, and we took him out in a few hits. Next was Rhyhorn, so I used Petal Dance, although I was kinda nervous about if it would work in the long run. As Execute came out, we were stuck with Petal Dance, but it actually did great damage, and he just went for Poison Powder, so we still won. By the time Water Onix came out, our dance had ended. We didn't hit ourselves, but we did miss our first Sleep Powder. Thankfully, the second one hit, and we started spamming Acid for the win, although we did get hit by Leer during the fight. Next is Alakazam, who of course is faster than us, and took out most of our health with Psybeam, but again, Sleep Powder hit, so we were able to take him out in a couple of hits. Last was Charizard though, and he outsped us and took us out with Flamethrower. Alright, if he's got Flamethrower, then that's really not good. So, we've got to do a bit of a grind. There's still quite a few trainers left on the map that we haven't fought yet, although a lot of them are both a pretty low level and not really the best types for us to fight. We have a pretty easy time with the swimmers, but there aren't too many of them, so I'll probably have to do more grinding after this. Really, we just need to gain enough levels to get a speed advantage over most of our rivals' team. That'll probably be enough for us to get a victory. While I grind, I thought I'd let you know that the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series is finally back, after almost exactly a year. It's me, Brandon, and a What a Geek again, just like in the Pokemon Stadium Let's Play we did back in the day, and it's my first time playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It's been really fun. I thought I'd let you know because people are constantly telling me that the subscriber bell thing just doesn't work anymore. And like, yeah, I don't know what YouTube did to that thing. I haven't gotten an email for an upload from a channel I rung the bell on for like a year, maybe longer than a year, and I did like that feature back when it worked. I love making YouTube videos, but man, YouTube sucks sometimes. Okay, on the next try, a few levels higher, things went pretty much the same way until Alakazam, although we never got hit by Leer or Wing Attack thanks to not missing Sleep Powder and Pidgeot using Agility. Alakazam could still have really hurt us, but he used Reflect thinking that it was super effective because it's Psychic, so we put him to sleep and took him out. Reflect doesn't carry over to the rest of his team in Gen 1, so that's pretty good. Charizard was last and is still faster than us, but thanks to being healthier, we can handle a Flamethrower. Thanks to that, we could put him to sleep and take him out. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get some levels in Victory Road for sure. If being slower than Alakazam and Charizard was that big of an issue in this fight, then how bad is it gonna be in the final fight? Not only that, but we've got the Lorelei fight, and she's probably gonna spam ice moves, and the Lance fight where Dragonite double resists grass. Plus, all of Agatha's ghosts resists all of our moves that we can actually hit them with, and Gengar is a beast in general. I'm not exactly feeling confident. We'll need to rely heavily on Sleep Powder for some of these fights, so the speed advantage is probably going to be required. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Not gonna lie, I feel like there's just about a 0% chance we can win at this level, but I've got to at least try. Who knows, maybe Petal Dance is enough to win the Lorelei fight for us. If it is, then at least I'll have a good trainer to grind against. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ice Trainer Lorelei. Right away, our Petal Dance one-shot the first 3 members of her team before we're outsped by Jinx and frozen solid on the first Ice Punch. Well, at least it was a funny way to lose. Second try, we get to Jinx, and this time we just crit our Petal Dance for a one-shot. Well, that was nice. The dance ended as Lapras came out, and thankfully we didn't hit ourselves, so we landed a Sleep Powder. We did hit ourselves right after, but we snapped out of it and were able to finish it off pretty easily with another dance. Not exactly a clean fight, but it'll do. Second is Fighting Trainer Bruno. Obviously, Onix went down to Petal Dance, as did his Hitmonchan right after. Hitmonlee used an X-Defend to protect him from the 0 physical moves I'm doing, and the second Onix was a one-shot as well. Last was Machamp, and thanks to us missing Sleep Powder, we got crit by submission. Now, he totally could have taken us out if he just kept using real moves, especially considering we hit ourselves in confusion, but he just kept using Fissure, so we just beat him. I don't know what he was thinking. Third is Ghost Trainer Agatha. The first try wasn't even close, with Gengar being able to easily mess us up and our own moves doing just about no damage. I was kind of hoping for defense drops with Acid, but even when we got one, we hardly did anything. Plus, we got horrible Confusion luck, and considering they love spamming Confuse Ray, we can't really avoid that. Considering this isn't her only Gengar, I'll have to come back at a higher level. I have some rare candy? Maybe it'll be enough? Alright, at level 82, I took 5 more tries. This embarrassing fight is the best one that I got. I didn't even make a single Pokemon faint, she just switched them whenever they got hurt. The first 4 tries I got hit by Confuse Ray and hit myself in confusion instantly, so those went even worse. I'll try a little more rare candy. I did drop a save before all of this in case I need to grind and then use them later instead. Level 86. This fight is nuts. First, we lucked out with Gengar using Dream Eater while we're awake, so we got to put him to sleep and start with Acid. He had a defense drop, woke up, then he started using Dream Eater again, so we put him back to sleep. That's when she switched to Golbat, so I had to go for Sleep Powder again. Thankfully, she just used Haze, so nothing happened. Then we crit with Double Edge to take him down. Gengar came back out, no longer with the defense drop of course, but our first Acid dropped his defense anyway. Pretty lucky. A couple hits and a crit later, and that's 1 Gengar down. Next was Haunter, who also takes almost no damage, so it's the same strategy. He's faster, but at least his Hypnosis missed. Then, suddenly, she switched out to Arbok, who actually hit us with a critical Acid. We put it to sleep, crit with a Double Edge, then finished it off with Acid, but our health is getting low. The sleeping Haunter came back out, and after a couple hits, she switched to her last Gengar as we landed a crit. It didn't really do much, but it did drop her defense a bit. Right away I went for Sleep Powder after taking a huge chunk of damage off Nightshade. Thanks to the defense drop, Acid was dealing decent damage, and when it was low, I went for Petal Dance just for her to switch out to her Haunter that just got taken out by it. As Gengar came back out, we landed a hit, took it to a Sliver, they used Toxic for whatever baffling reason, and we got the win. Oh my god, that fight was awful. I hope I don't have to go back and grind more, because that means I'll have to do this again. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Lance. This fight was kind of amazing. Water Onix went just about as well as the Water Onix fights usually do, and the first Dragonair was fine since Acid did quite a bit of damage. I thought I needed Sleep Powder, but as the second one came out, I remembered that due to us being part Poison type, and Gen 1 being kinda weird, they just use Agility over and over thinking that it's super effective, so they don't really fight back. Aerodactyl could have hurt us, but he just missed Supersonic, and last was Dragonite, who just used Agility and Barrier. We actually took damage thanks to Confusion and Recoil, but we really couldn't have lost that fight. Finally, the Pokemon Champion. Pidgeot was pretty easy thanks to going for Sky Attack and being cut off with Sleep Powder, so that part went fine. Against Alakazam, I thought things would go fine when he used Reflect, fell asleep, and then we started getting tons of defense drops on him. Problem is, he used a full restore to heal and wake up, then crit us with Psychic to take us from 215 health to 0. Yeah, this might take a few tries. 6 tries later, and he finally used Reflect again, so we put him to sleep. This time, thanks to getting no defense drops, we never ended up dropping him into red health, so he didn't use his full restore. He could have just finished us off when he woke up, but he used Reflect again, so we just took him down. Rhydon was next, so we one-shot him with Petal Dance, but it bit us because next was Executor, who we could easily take out with Acid if we could just use it. Instead, we were stuck doing low damage with our Petal Dance, he put it to sleep, then he crit us with multiple stomps as we slept for ages. Thanks to that, when he finally went down and Water Onix came out, we got outsped and taken out by Hyper Beam. Okay, well, Hypnosis misses a lot, so let's keep trying. After literally so many tries that I lost count, where we either got one-shot by Alakazam, or just got put to sleep for the entire battle against Execute, we finally lucked out and he just missed Hypnosis twice, and we didn't hit ourselves in confusion. You'd think Hypnosis would miss all the time, but he hit that thing almost every attempt. Against Water Onix, we lucked out right away with Hyper Beam missing, but then hit ourselves in confusion, of course. He used Leer for some reason, and we landed our Sleep Powder. Thankfully, confusion wore off pretty fast, so we were able to spam Acid till he went down. Last was Charizard, who instantly hit us with Fire Blast, and honestly, it did a lot less damage than I was expecting. We landed our Sleep Powder and spammed out Acid until we finally got the victory. Well, that was about as hard as I expected. I figured our low speed would be an issue, but I didn't think that even Water Onix would be faster than us at the end of the game. What I really didn't see coming, though, was that brutal Agatha fight. I totally forgot that would be a problem. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon challenge should be up next Saturday, because I'm going back to doing 3 challenges a month. Maybe 4 if I have time. We'll see how possible that is. Next run is going to be Mareep only in Pokemon Gold. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. So I don't think I have a whole ton to ramble about this time for the ad-libby outro thingy, where I don't write anything down. But because I'm back to doing 3 challenges a month, and possibly 4, we'll see, that means that there are weeks where I am both recording the next challenge and doing the editing / voiceover for the challenge that happened the previous week that you're seeing now. Time is difficult. Because of that, I've actually started on that Mareep challenge already. I've actually gotten a decent bit into it. And oh my god, the Steel Gym is so bad. I remember when I was planning out the run and thinking like, oh, maybe this won't be too bad, you know? Like the beginning shouldn't be too hard, the first couple gyms wouldn't be too hard. Why haven't I done Mareep in Gen 2 yet? I like Mareep, Mareep's cool, Mareep's a really Gen 2 Pokemon, you know? And then I started, and I played for a bit, and things are fine, and it was going alright. Mareep's pretty weak, actually, but, you know, it's going alright by my standards. And then, like, a little bit into it, I suddenly realized, oh, the Steel Gym, yeah, I don't actually have any moves that aren't resisted by Steelix, the highest defense Pokemon in the entire game. And, like, the only move we can learn that would be any good at it, you get from beating that gym. Oh, man. I'm not gonna spoil exactly how it goes, but, like, that's one of the worst fights I've done in a long while. I'm not even done the run yet by the time that I'm recording this voiceover. There's still plenty to do, really, but... that fight was horrible. And I guess you'll see it next Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, like usual. Nothing else to say, really. I got some Mario Party that'll hopefully be going up soon if you guys are into that, because the Mario Party stuff with my friends is really, really fun. Love it. Oh, and I'm doing more 7 Days to Die with Brandon, for any of you who actually watch the other non-Pokemon stuff I do. I have a fun time with it. I know a lot of you guys do too. Anyway, that's it. I need to go back to grinding in a Pokemon challenge, because of course I do. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.